Hello everybody, I'm Thomas. Welcome back to the 6th video of this series in which I'll be playing Arkham Horror, the living card game, where I'm playing through the Dunwich Legacy campaign. Today I will be continuing with the Undimensioned and Unseen scenario, but first I have a bit of an interlude to read. This interlude is called The Survivors, and the first part reads, "Inside the chamber that contained the terrible beast, you find the missing townsfolk and the others from Arkham. They are bound and shackled. You also find several documents that suggest the creature you found isn't the only one of its kind in Dunwich. You free the creature's victims from their bonds, and they offer their thanks. You begin to plan your next move." And so, because of that little part, I get to add Dr. Francis Morgan back to my deck, which I believe I added to Zoey's deck. I already kind of went through this earlier just so I could make my deck upgrades. The next part reads from Francis Morgan, and it says, "Thank you for everything you've done." Dr. Francis Morgan says, "Taking count of your provisions and ammunitions. Last time, we needed some of that strange powder Armitage concocted to even see the beast that terrorized Dunwich. There's more of these things out there. We're gonna need that powder. I think I remember how to make it." And so because of this little part here, I got to add the powder of Ibn Ghazi, I think that's how you pronounce it, to Rex's deck. The next little part is for Zebulon Watley. It reads, "Dunwich has had its fair share of oddities," Zebulon explains with a quivering voice, "but I ain't ever seen anything as sick and twisted as this thing." He gives the creature's remains one last sickening glance before closing the door to the chamber behind him, shuddering. He locks eyes with you, his expression grim. "Whoever done this gotta pay. I'll do all I can to help." And so I got to add Zebulon Watley to a deck, and I believe I added them to Rex's deck. So that was all that. I also did make a few deck upgrades to each of the decks. So besides what I mentioned here, for Rex, I removed Mariner's Compass, one of them, and a Manual Dexterity, and I added 2 Mind Over Matters level 2. And for Zoey's little upgrades, I removed Emergency Aid and Dynamite Blast, and I added Lesson Learned level 2 and I've Had Worse level 2. Onto the actual scenario. The intro text reads, "Your search of the village of Dunwich has uncovered a number of documents, journal entries, and esoteric theories. Reading through these materials leaves you exhausted and emotionally drained. Most of the content was written by a single source, a man named Seth Bishop. When you ask around town, you learn that Seth is a citizen of Dunwich. Along with several others, Seth has witnessed firsthand the devastation wrought by the events of the Dunwich Horror, as Armitage has dubbed the incident. Curiously, since the last time, very few people had seen Seth around town, and those who did claimed his eyes had been bloodshot and his face sweaty and pale. You don't doubt that somebody who has seen what Seth had seen would appear nervous or paranoid. But the more you read of his frantic and unhinged writing, the more you believe he is involved in the recent events. His writing speak of having gathered the remains and of using arcane methods to imbue the father's essence into the creatures and eventually other people. The explanation and diagrams that follow are unfathomably complex and defy understanding. Before you find Seth and confront him, several men and women from the village approach you in a panic. "It's back!" one of them wails. You recognize him as Curtis Watley of the Undecayed branch. "Whatever it was that killed the Fries, it's back! Up and smashed the bishop's home like it was made of paper." Curtis and the other townfolks are clamoring over amongst themselves, raising their voices in a panic. I had to choose between one of 2 options. I could either try to calm down the townsfolk, or I could try to convince them to evacuate, which I tried to convince them to evacuate. And the next part reads, "You warn the townsfolk that they are in grave danger and urge them to flee Dunwich while they can. Several of them immediately heed your advice, remembering the terrible monstrosity that had previously endangered the town. Curtis drops to his knees in despair, sweating feverishly. 'It's that thing again, ain't it? It's come back for us.' Curtis stutters. I hope you've got some of that powder the old professor had last time. We couldn't even see the damn things till he sprayed it. To this day, I wish I wouldn't have seen it at all. Something must be done to stop the monster's rampage. But if the documents you found are true, there may be more than one of these such creatures on the loose." So I had to do all the setup, and also as part of the setup, I had to add an extra weakness to both Rex and Zoey. So Zoey got psychosis, Rex got Unspeakable Oath of Curiosity, so that's fun. Like, they needed more weaknesses in their deck. So, on to the first agenda that is called Rampaging Creatures, and it reads, reports of terrifying entities wreaking havoc across the countryside have caused the citizens of Dunwich to panic. Worse, the creatures seem to be invisible to the naked eye. And this has a forced ability at the end of the enemy phase. Move each brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy 1 towards a random location. All right, Act 1 is titled Saracenic Script. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I don't really know. But it reads, the monsters tearing through Dunwich County are immune to traditional weapons. Only by reciting a particular incantation can the creatures be defeated. First, you must search the ruins of Wilbert Whatley's home in order to find the final sections of the otherworldly script. And this has the objective, only investigators at Whatley Ruins may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance, which is 4 total in this case. So as you can see here, we got the map all laid out of the different locations. We're starting in Dunwich Village. There's also a brood of Yogg-Sothoth already in the Cold Spring Glen. So let's go ahead and draw Zoey's starting cards. So we got 1, 2, okay, that goes out. 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, most of these cards aren't bad, but I just want, it would be nice to have a machete. So I think I might get rid of Francis Morgan and I'll get rid of Evidence, just because I'm already gonna have at least 1 companion now and I just need to see something else. So I get Lesson Learned and Overpowered as my other cards. All right, and for Rex, we get Crack the Case, Dr. Milan, Rex's Curse, which thankfully I don't draw yet, Deduction, Magnifying Glass, and Shortcut level 2. Wow, some really, really good cards. Honestly, I think that's like an ideal starting hand. Maybe if I had Pathfinder, but I don't really want to swap out any of these cards for that, so I'm just gonna keep what I have. All right, so we're ready to get going. I think I'm gonna have Rex go first. And first action, play Dr. Milan. And fast action, play Magnifying Glass. That takes up all of his resources, but now he basically has a 6 intellect and he has Dr. Milan out, which is always good to have. And so this is only a 2 shroud location. That was only my first action. So second action, I'm gonna go ahead and try to investigate, and that's gonna be a 6 against a 2. -1 means I get both clues along with a resource from Milan. And then as my third action, I think I will investigate again. Sure. Let's see what I get. I get a -3, but I'm at a 6 against a 2, so we're all good there. Grab another clue. I get a resource back, and I think I will go ahead. This may not be the most opportune time to use it, but I'm gonna go ahead and use Crack the Case to get myself 2 resources. Okay, this might be kind of lame, but I just kind of want to have Zoey semi-set up. So first action and second action, I'm gonna draw 2 resources. Third action, I'm gonna play Leo DeLuca, which costs 6. And then fourth action, I will spend my last resource to play Zoey's Cross, because it's good to have in my starting hand. Might as well get it in play as soon as I can. So not a very exciting turn for Zoey, but that's okay. So then enemy phase, they don't move, but then at the end of their turn, at the end of the enemy phase, I move each of these to a random location, which I do by grabbing the random locations over here, shuffling them, and just picking one at random, and that's where it moves to, or it moves towards. So it doesn't like teleport, it just moves towards there. So we're gonna go with Blasted Heath is where it's moving towards. So we could either go 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2. So I guess 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it's gonna move to Dunwich Village. Oh boy. Great, it's already here. And so end of the round, upkeep phase happens. So we each get a resource and a card. Rex gets Mind Over Matter, okay. Zoey gets Beat Cop, all right. And then top of the round, Doom on the agenda, 1 out of 5. We'll have Zoey go first, and she draws Altered Beasts. If there are no Abomination enemies in play, this gains Surge, but there's an Abomination enemy in play. Otherwise, choose an Abomination, heal all damage from that enemy, and attach Altered Beast to it. When you enter the enemy's location, or vice versa, take a horror. Luckily, it already did that, so it's not going to affect us, at least at the moment. And then Rex's card is Attracting Attention. each brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy in play moves towards you 1. This has Surge. It's already at our location, so it doesn't really matter. Rex's next card is Ruin and Destruction. Revelation, if there are no investigators at the same location as of Yogg-Sothoth, this gains Surge. Otherwise, each investigator at the same location as a brood of Yogg-Sothoth tests 3 agility. For each point he or she fails by, he or she takes 1 damage. So, they're both going to pretty much just have to do a normal test. So we'll have Zoey go first because she doesn't really have anything to commit. She could commit dodge, but that seems like a waste. She's testing a 2 against a 3, so she's already down 1. A skull is -1 for each brood of Yogg-Sothoth in play. So she fails by what, 2? So she's taking 2 damage. And then Rex is just testing a 3 against a 3. And that is a success. I could choose to fail it, but I don't want to. So we're gonna be doing just fine. Okay, well, this thing needs evaded. And I think the only real way to do that is this Mind Over Matter. So Rex, as a fast action, will play Mind Over Matter. So until the end of the round, I can add my intellect to my fight and my agility. I also get to draw a card. Please don't draw Rex's Curse. Okay, thank goodness. So as my first action, I'm going to evade this guy. If I'm adding my intellect to my agility, I currently have 6, so total of 9 against a 3 test. That is a -1, so thankfully I pass. And that was Rex's first action, since that first thing was free. As another fast action, I'm going to spend a resource to play Shortcut. I will just attach it here, and then so he's only used 1 action, and then I can exhaust Shortcut to move. We'll go up to we'll go to the 10-acre meadows right in the center, and there's only 1 clue there. And so Rex should still have 2 actions, right? Because he only used 1 action to evade. The first thing was free. That was fast to play. It was a fast action to use. There's a fast action on this that says you can lure a monster into the rain, place 1 clue from the token bank on an abomination in 10-acre meadow. At the end of the round, remove 1 clue from that enemy. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's just going to investigate as a second action, just a 6 against a 3. That is a skull, so 5 against a 3, so he succeeds, gets a clue and a resource because of Milan. And then I think his last action, he will move into the Watley Ruins and see what's going on in there. It's 2 Shroud, and there's 4 clues there. And I think, I mean, Rex already has 4 clues, and he's at the Watley Ruins. It doesn't say I have to wait till the end of the round to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and spend the 4 clues to go ahead and advance the act. Sometimes I don't like advancing the act super quickly, but I think in this case I kind of need to. So on the back it reads, I need to check if Dr. Armitage survived, which he didn't, right? Yeah, no. He got sacrificed, unfortunately. So I'm gonna read the bottom part, which says, using the information contained within the ruins of Watley's homestead, you are able to transcribe the remainder of the formula previously used by Dr. Armitage to destroy the beast that plagued Dunwich. However, the endeavor sets you back several hours. Each investigator puts into play 1 set-aside esoteric formula, place 1 doom on the current agenda. So we each get 1 of these esoteric formulas that reads, as a fight action, this attack uses willpower instead of the fight. And then you get +2 willpower for this attack for each clue on the attacked enemy. You can only use this on abomination enemies. All right, the next act says, they must be destroyed. With the formula in hand, you finally have the means to destroy the creatures wreaking havoc in Dunwich, but only if you can survive long enough. The objective is defeat as many brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemies as you can. If there are no more copies in play or set aside, advance. Which I can go ahead and tell you right now, there's 1 in play and 2 set aside. So it seems like we're gonna have to kill 3 of them. But that is, I guess, it for Rex's turn, and we're back to Zoey. And Zoey's in a pretty good spot because she's at the village. The brood is already exhausted, and she could start doing the ability on the esoteric formula. It's a shame. I probably should have used the powder to help, but I could just try to go for it. The thing does have 3 health, and it can only be damaged by this thing, which only does 1 damage at a time. So maybe I'll just go ahead and try to just attack it 3 times, see if we can kill it. But unfortunately, Zoey's just gonna be doing a straight test. So it's just gonna be a test of 6 against a 6. So not ideal, but it's all right. We'll see what happens. Well, maybe I shouldn't do this then. Maybe first action, I'll draw a card. Just see what I get. Safeguard. Okay, Safeguard's not bad. It does have a willpower symbol, but I feel like it would be kind of a waste to use it. Man, I really should have put a clue on this first to make this a little bit easier. Because you get +2 for each clue. So actually, I'd be testing 4 against a 6. So I wouldn't even get that bonus unless there was a clue on there. I guess, yeah, second action, I'm going to draw a card. Third action, I will move into the 10-acre meadows. And then fourth action, I'm just going to draw a card. Or not a card, grab a resource. Not the most exciting, but once again, I just kind of want Zoey to be a little bit more prepared. So that's that for Zoey's turn. This thing doesn't ready, but then at the end of the phase, it's going to move to a random location. So let me shuffle these cards real fast. Shuffle, 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 and we'll go with this top card here. So it's moving towards the Blasted Heath still. So it will be moving up this way, and then we're in the upkeep phase, so that will automatically ready. So will that, and then everybody gets some resources and some cards. So if I could grab resources. That Rex gets Inquiring Mind. I'm always scared of just drawing Rex's Curse now. I'm like forever. And Zoey gets a machete. Let's go. I was hoping something like that would happen. All right. So did I do 4 actions for Zoey last turn? I think I did because I drew a card, grabbed a resource, and moved. Okay, I'm just making sure. So then top of the round, there's going to be 3 out of 5 Doom on the agenda. We'll see what Zoey gets first. She gets Dissonant Voices, so cannot play assets or events. Unfortunate, because she has an asset she wants to play, which is Machete, but can't really do that this turn, I guess. Then for Rex, we get the Creature's Tracks. It's a Peril and Revelation. You must either, and I have to choose one, take 2 horror or spawn a set-aside brood of Yogg-Sothoth at a random location. I'll definitely take 2 horror. That's not that bad. Okay, I might do a bit of a gamble here. This might not be a great idea. I guess, well, I might have a better plan. So there's a test here I can do. Test for Intellect. If you're successful, move a brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy 1 location in any direction. So if I do that twice, I can move it to the 10-acre meadow, and then I can maybe put a clue on it with that ability there. See, I only have 2 clues on here. There's 3 total. I could put a clue with this ability. Still haven't revealed these other 3 locations. They might have ways to do clue stuff, but yeah, I don't really know. So what I feel like I want at least 2 clues on this before I start doing anything too crazy. So I'm going to first action do this test. Now I'm testing at a 6 against a 4. That is an Investigator sign. So the Elder sign. So this moves here. It's the first action. Second action, I'm gonna do it again. That is a -2, but I still succeed. So this guy moves over here. I'm gonna move this like arrow down, maybe this one up, just so I have room to put this guy here. Hopefully that's still understandable what's going on. This still has Altered Beasts. So that means when this moved into Zoey's spot, she's going to be taking a horror, which I'll put on Leo DeLuca. And then Rex's final action, he will move in here, also taking a horror because of Altered Beasts. And then as a free action, he can put a clue on it with that, because that's free. And then also he can use the ability on 10-acre to place a clue from the token bank on an abomination. At the end of the round, it will go away, but hopefully I have everything positioned so Zoey can basically take 4 shots at this thing and hopefully kill it. So that's going to be it for Rex's turn. Let's see if Zoey can take it out. So First action, she's going to attempt to swing at this thing. I guess using the esoteric formula, she will get +4. So she's testing an 8 against a 2, which is pretty good odds. Or no, sorry, 8 against a 6. So she's up 2. That's what I meant to say. So let's see. She needs to hit it 3 times, so she can miss once. First is this cultist, which is reveal another token. If you fail, take a horror. So that is a -2. She doesn't fail, so she doesn't take a horror. That's 1 damage on this thing. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do the other test before I put damage on it, because it might die this turn. So that was first action. Second action, she's gonna do it again. That's a -2, so she's barely getting by. And then third action, she's gonna attempt it one more time. And that's a skull, which is just -1. And this thing is dead. So that means Zoey should still have another action. And then also, she should have gained a resource, I think, from her cross. I don't know if I should have probably done that earlier when she got engaged with it. Yeah, I can't really do much because I can't play any of the cards I want. 2, 4, 6, 7. She's gonna be maxed out, so I'm just gonna draw another resource. It's so lame, but I can't play anything because of Dissonant Whispers or Voices, which is gone now. But yeah, that was a pain. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. We still have that one of these left, and I'm gonna go try to poke around some of these other locations here to see if there's more of these like location things that can interact with these guys. So enemy phase, there's no enemies, thankfully. So I'm gonna move these around a little bit. Upkeep phase, they both get a resource and a card. So Rex gets crack the case, okay. Zoey gets 45 automatic, nice. Top of the round. 4 out of 5 Doom on the agenda. Zoey draws Frozen in Fear. So the first time you perform one of the actions, move, fight, or evade, costs an additional action, and at the end of the round, she has to do a Willpower 3 test to test out of it. Rex is going to draw Towering Beasts. So it says, attached to a brood of Yogg-Sothoth, enemy in play. If that enemy is at your location, take 1 damage. Attached enemy gets +1 fight and +1 health. There's no brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemies in play, so I think this just gets discarded. It doesn't have Surge, just has Peril. So I think I'm okay. So I'm gonna have Zoey just keep equipping up because I need her kind of geared out. So first action, she's going to play her machete. Second action, she's going to play Safeguard. Third action, honestly, third and fourth action, she's just gonna gain more resources. I feel like I've done that so much, but I wanna play Beat Cop because then she'll be really kind of geared out at that point, and she'll be able to do that pretty much next turn. And then what's nice is that's it for her turn. And then since I have Safeguard now, when Rex moves around, she could just follow, which is pretty nice. And then that shouldn't really mess with Frozen in Fear because she's not doing the action. So I think we're good on that case. And then I can exhaust this also. And then now it's Rex's turn. So Rex, as a first action, will move into Dunwich Village, which she will follow. As a free action, he can move anywhere. So we'll go down. I guess we'll go up to Blasted Heath since there's 2 locations up there. She follows, and that was still only his first action, right? Because that was a free action. So there's 3 clues here. I think second action, I'm gonna go ahead and investigate here using deduction. That's gonna be a 7 against a 4 test. And that's an Elder Sign. Man, Rex loves these Elder Signs, and I'm not complaining. Because we get all 3 clues because of deduction and Rex's ability. And then because of Milan, we also get a resource. I could crack the case, and this would maybe not be a bad location. I guess I will, even though Rex just already has a ton of resources. And I guess as Rex's final action, he will go ahead and move over to Devil's Hop Yard and see what's going on there. And it was nice. I didn't read this at Blasted Heath. It can... there's a free action that says you lure the creature into a patch of sand. Investigators in Blasted Heath may, as a group, place up to 2 clues on an abomination enemy in Blasted Heath. So that's pretty helpful. And the Devil's Hop Yard is only a 1-shroud location with 2 clues, and it reads, you lure the creatures into the thick fog. An investigator at Devil's Hop Yard may place up to 2 of his or her clues on an abomination in the Devil's Hop Yard. Okay, so we now... Glad we're reviewing more locations because I feel a little bit better. We now have more ways to get clues on the things. I guess we need to just now wait until more spawn because I don't think there's any way for me to spawn them. They just have to appear, I think. So I guess that's it for them. Enemy phase, there's no enemies in play, so we're chilling. Zoey can go ahead and test for Frozen in Fear, which Rex could go ahead and commit Acquiring Mind to, just to help her out a little bit. Actually, you know what? Nah. She'll just test. Maybe she'll use Lesson Learned. So that'll just give her a +1. So she'll be testing at a 4 against a 3, or 5 against a 3. So up 2. This is -3. If this token is revealed during attack or against a Brood of Yogg-Sothoth, it immediately attacks you. So that was a -3, so she fails. Unfortunately, loses the card and still has Frozen in Fear. All right, so then upkeep phase. I don't think I did resources and stuff yet. So resource, Rex draws deduction, and Zoey draws emergency cash. Man, where was that when I kept doing the gain a resource action? All right, top of the round, Doom on the agenda will be the 5th Doom up here. So then we're gonna have to go ahead and advance it. So back of this agenda reads, an old pickup truck rolls to a stop along the weathered trails of Dunwich. The driver, Joe Osborne, calls out to you through a shattered driver's side window. The truck's engine is still running. It's over at Eric's farm, he shouts. Done blasted their place apart, poor Henry and Martha. You ask Osborne for directions to Eric's homestead, and it confirms your worst fear. For that attack to have occurred recently, there must be more of the monsters on the loose. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Spawn 1 set-aside Brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy at a random location if able. I'm gonna go ahead and read this next card that's titled Biding Its Time. And this reads, once in a while, a wind sweeping up out of the cold spring glen would bring a touch of ineffable photor to the heavy night air. But the look for terror did not appear. Whatever was down there in the glen was biding its time, and Armitage told his colleagues it would be suicidal to try to attack in the dark. That was a little excerpt from H.P. Lovecraft's The Dunwich Horror. And this has the forced ability at the end of an enemy phase, move each Brood of Yogg-Sothoth 1 space towards a random location. So we're gonna be spawning this at, let's go here, 10-acre meadow. So this next Brood of Yogg-Sothoth is showing up there. Okay, well, I'm gonna have Zoey use her safeguard, and then we're gonna go down to Watley Ruin as Rex's first action. I'm having Rex go first. Second action, I'm gonna have him do this test here to try to do the thing here. So he's testing a 6 against a 4, so not great odds. That's a -3, so that fails. Second action, he's just gonna do it again. I'm not gonna add any cards, and that's the auto fail. Glad I didn't. Wouldn't have mattered. I was gonna try to move this guy up here, and then we're gonna maybe do some cool stuff. Yeah, that didn't really happen. So then Zoey, first action, she's gonna play Beat Cop, and second action, she's gonna play Emergency Cash. So that's just a single resource she loses. Third action, she'll draw a card, and she gets the thing that follows. We'll put that in Dunwich, because I guess that's probably the furthest one too. Yeah, it's like 2 spaces away. And then for her final action, I guess I'm just gonna draw another card because I don't know what else to do. She gets Leo DeLuca. So then she can test out of the Frozen in Fear. And I'll have Rex commit this Inquiring Mind. I really don't want to do that, but it's gonna happen. So now Zoey's gonna be at a 7 against a 3. And that is an investigator thing. So the Elder Sign, I keep forgetting what it's called. So she succeeds, so she's no longer Frozen in Fear. That was it for both of their turns, right? That wasn't very crazy of a turn. Enemy phase, this thing is going to move 1 location towards them. It's going to be 1-2 or 1-2 regardless. I'm going to have it go here, also chilling in the 10-acre meadow. Starting to run out of table room here. And then this, at the end of the enemy phase, needs to move towards a random location. So I'm going to give you a quick shuffle, and I'll stop here. And it's moving towards the Cold Spring Glen. That is the one spot I really didn't want it to move. But maybe this also has good stuff down here. So maybe that's where I need to go next. Is just see what's going on down there. Upkeep phase, everything readies. That's not readied. Everybody gets a resource. and a card. Rex has so many resources. Rex draws Perception. Okay, okay. And Zoey draws another Machete. Okay. Top of the round, there's going to be a Doom on the agenda. And then, did I even draw? I didn't draw Treachery cards last round, did I? I totally forgot, didn't I? Because I spawned that, I did all the stuff, and then I don't think I drew Treachery cards. So, my bad. Maybe I'll just draw 2 for each this round. That's kind of brutal. I think that's the only fair thing to do, because I have a bad habit of, once I do like the agenda stuff, forgetting to do the Treachery card stuff. So we'll go ahead and just do 2 for each. We'll go like back and forth. So Zoey draws Whooping Thrall. It spawns a location furthest from her, so we'll also just put it in Dunwich Village for now. And then Rex draws Altered Beasts. Unfortunately, that goes here. And then I will go ahead and do the other cards that I guess I think I forgot last round, because you do that after the agenda, and the agenda had me shuffle. There's clearly no cards in the discard. So Zoey draws Eager for Death. So it's test 2 willpower, increase the skill test for each damage on you. So it's going to be a 4 willpower test and she's testing at a 4 against a 4. That's a -2. If you fail, take 2 horror. So she's taken 2 horror. And then for Rex's other thing, Peril, you must either take 2 horror or spawn a set-aside Yogg-Sothoth at a random location. Rex could take 2 horror. He's not sitting at a terrible position now, but too much more and he's going to be in a bad position. But right now, I don't want too many of these things to deal with, so we'll just do this. It's unfortunate now that I don't know what's here. And this has Altered Beast, so moving in there they're each gonna take a horror, which kind of sucks, but not too much I can do about that. So I guess we could have Rex go first. Yeah, we'll maybe have Rex go first. See, but the thing is, Rex really needs to get some cards in hand. And I don't have a great way to really do that. So I guess I could go first action, draw a card. Of course I draw a weakness. I just wanted enough cards in hand to use Higher Education. And that plan is already out the window because I drew Nihilism. Okay. I could use the test here to move it towards us, but then I still need a way to put clues on it. So I guess second action, I'll activate Safeguard, and we're just gonna move into the Cold Spring Glen with the Brood. Each enemy in here gains -1 evade after is chosen as a random location. Okay, so there's stuff here, but unfortunately not the stuff I want. We also both take horror because of its ability. Well, shoot. I don't really have a plan here. There's not much I think I can do. I really wish I had more cards in hand so I can use Higher Education, because that would make the esoteric formula real easy to use. Now that I'm engaged with this thing, I can't do anything else besides try to evade it, I guess. So Rex is just gonna be testing a 3 against a 3, though it does have -1 evade, so a 3 against a 2, and that's a 0. So actually he manages to evade it. It's not really gonna do much, but it at least buys us options that Zoey could do something. But I think Zoey's just gonna want to probably attack it. Unfortunately, there's no clues on it. I guess he could maybe he will use this powder also to put a clue thing on here. So then she could be testing a 6 against a 6. Yeah, maybe this wasn't the best idea coming in here, but I thought there would be another thing on the location so we could do some other stuff. Because right now, if she were to test, it would be just an even test, which I don't really like. Maybe first action, I'll have her draw a card. Okay, that did not help in the slightest. Second action, you know what? We're gonna try to attack it, and I'll commit. I've had worse, so she's at a 5 against or no, she gets +2, so she's at a 6, 7 against a 6, so up 1. That's a -1, so that hits for 1 damage. And then I guess I'll just have her try to do some just straight up 6 against a 6 tests. She doesn't have any other things to really boost it. I mean, she does, but I don't want to waste them. Same with Rex, like he has a card, but I don't really want to waste it. So a 6 against a 6, that is a cultist. So if I fail this next test, I take a horror. That is a -1, so I did fail, and I am going to be taking a horror, which is not good for Zoey. And then I guess this is her last test, right? So then it's another cultist. Man, maybe I shouldn't have been doing these tests because she's going to be taking a lot of horror now. That's a skull, which is a -1, which means she fails again. She's going to be taking another horror. I guess I could put one on Beat Cop. I forgot he's up there, so that's kind of nice. All right, so that was it for Zoey. I mean, thankfully this thing's evaded, so it's not going to be doing any damage, at least this turn. But enemy phase, this thing that follows is going to move into here, engage with Zoey. She gets a resource. I think she would also get a resource earlier when that thing engaged. I probably forgot about that again. So I'll go ahead and do that now. And then this is going to attack. So she's taking, do I not have a card? I might dodge. I know this is probably a weak use of dodge, but I really don't want to take any more horror. So I'm going to just dodge. Nope, don't give myself a resource. Get rid of a resource. Okay, so we dodged. End of the enemy phase, I have to choose random location to see where this brood moves to. And it's, oh, I guess this thing is also hunter. I didn't realize that. So it's going to move into here, prey, lowest. So it's going to also engage with Zoey. I'm starting to run out of room. And she's gonna get another resource for that. And then I guess I could spend a resource to use her cross to go ahead and deal damage to this thing. But then, yeah, I'm gonna be taking some damage from, I'm gonna be taking some more horror from this thing because this has a damage on it already. Unless I want to kill off one of my companions, which I really don't want to do, but I think I'm gonna have to. So I'm gonna just kill off Beat Cop. I'm gonna put the damage on him first and then the horror, which would kill him. So rip Beat Cop, but I guess I could have discarded. No, I don't want to discard him because that wouldn't have really helped. Okay. So yeah, now this thing needs to move to a random location. Let's see where it moves to. It's going to here, the Watley Ruins. Okay. So this thing is moving up here and is readying. It has a clue on it and a damage already. So then everybody ready. So he's engaged with 2 different things right now, but she should be able to take him out pretty easily. Famous last words. I think we also need to do upkeep still. So resource and resource. Rex draws preposterous sketches and Zoey gets lucky. All right. Top of the round, Doom on the agenda, 2 out of 6. Zoey draws the creature tracks. Must either spawn a set aside brood or take 2 horror. She's definitely going to spawn a set aside brood because she can't take 2 horror. She would die. So I need to spawn this last one at some point. So we're spawning at the Cold Spring Glen. Oh, that's fun. That's our location. Great. At least it's not an altered beast, so we're not taking horror because of it, but that thing is still altered, which isn't good. Okay. And then Rex draws, if there are no investigators at the same location of brood, Otherwise, each investigator at the same location of a brood tests 3 agility. For each point he or she fails by, they take 1 damage. So 3 agility. Zoey has 2. She'll commit her 45 to be at a 3 against a 3. That's a 0, so she passes without taking any damage. And then Rex is just testing also at a 3 against a 3. There's a -1, so he takes just 1 damage. All right, Zoey's just gonna do a lot of attacking this turn. She's gonna commit Overpowered to try to take out the thing that follows. She's not gonna get extra damage for the machete, so she's testing a 4, 5, 6, right? Because 4 plus 2, so 6 against a 3. -3, she is successful, so that hits. She draws a card. Second action, she's gonna do it again. She'll commit her other machete to be at a 5 against a 3, and that's a -3, so she fails. I'm gonna go ahead and use lucky because I just need to get this done. So that passes now. So this thing is dead, so it goes back in my deck. So her third action, she's going to attack the thing that she's still engaged with. I need to, let's see, she's at a 4 against a 4. I have nothing to boost that. Oh boy. And I wait, oh, I could use this. Would that help though? There's no clues on that thing and it wouldn't. Oh, I do get +1, so I'm testing at a 5 against a 4. That's not much better. But I think I do have 2 tries at this, right? So that's a great thing to draw. So I get to take this thing out in one swing. Not bad. And then I guess I was going to move away from this thing, but I don't think I can because it would probably attack me, right? Yeah, I'm just going to try to attack it. I think I have a plan. So I'm going to use the esoteric formula. I'm just going to be testing a 4 against a 6. Maybe I shouldn't do this, but I don't have a... I guess I could just not do anything because there's a lot of symbols in here that are going to hurt me. I don't know if I could just pass as an action. I guess I probably can. Yeah, I think Zoe's just not going to take her last action because I kind of have a plan here. And that plan is pretty simple. First action, have Rex draw a card, and he better not draw a weakness or I'm going to be screwed. Okay, thank goodness, it's burglary. Rex draws that. He would get attacked, and then Zoey can use dodge to cancel that attack. So then Rex still has 2 actions. Oh, he's not going to be able to take it out, though. I didn't think about that. Whatever. That's not whatever. This is not good if that happens, because then... Oh, boy. Zoe's going to be... She's on the brink of death. She could take a little bit more horror, and then that's it. I didn't think that through. This is not a good situation, because I can attack this twice with Rex and probably hit it because I have higher education, but it's not going to kill it. It's going to attack both of us, and that's really bad, but I don't have another choice, so I'm just going to do it. I'll spend 2 resources to be at a +4. So that's going to put me, well, I guess I'll use 3 resources. It'll put me at a +6, right? That'll be a +6, so 9 against a 6. That's an investigator symbol, so I'll definitely take that. That first attack's going to hit, and then I'm going to do it again. Attacking once again, I'll commit 3 resources, and that's a -2, so that's good. That hits, but unfortunately, this thing is not dead. This is not good. And then I think that's going to be it. But they do, oh, they move at the end of the enemy phase. That's right. So then this thing is going to attack, unfortunately. Zoe's going to be taking 2 damage, which is fine, but then the 2 horror is not good because it's going to take out Leo DeLuca. And she is down to only 1 horror remaining. Rex is going to be doing fine-ish. I mean, he's going to be up to 3 health, which isn't bad, but then he's going to get, 2 more horror? So he's going to be at... He's 2 horror away from dying. And then each of these need to move somewhere else, so we'll draw for this bottom one first to see where it goes. And it's going to be moving towards the blasted heath. So we'll say it's going over here. And then this one that's at the Watley Ruins is moving towards here, which is the 10-acre meadow. Okay. So it's moving, we'll move it like right there. That's chilling there, and those are gone for now. So then upkeep phase, there's nothing really too ready. So then I just got to give everybody a resource. Rex draws Pathfinder. Okay. And Zoe draws emergency cash. Okay. Honestly, not a bad card because she just lost Leo DeLuca. She could play that, play the other Leo DeLuca. Top of the round, another Doom on the agenda, 3 out of 6. I mean, we just have to finish off the 2 that are in play. And this one only has 1 health, this one only has 2 health. So it's very doable, but it's going to be rough. I think Rex could pretty much do it next turn unless there's any crazy reason he can't, because he has enough resources to do it. Zoe draws Rotting Remains. So, oh no. Test 3 willpower. I'm going to definitely have Rex commit a card to this. So she's going to be testing at a 5 against a 3. So she's up 2, but if she fails this, she's dead. That's a cultist token. So a 5 against a 3. Please don't draw a low number. That's a -3. She is dead. Yeah, I couldn't have used Forewarned on that. She went insane. I don't blame her, but that's not going to make this scenario much easier. So Zoe's gone crazy. Unfortunately, the brood of Yogg-Sothoths were too much for her. It's unfortunate, but it's how it goes. Let's see what Rex gets. Oh boy, Towering Beasts. So attached to a Yogg-Sothoth in play, if that enemy is at your location, And this is, I'm going to use Forewarned on this. So play when you draw non-weakness treachery cards. That's what this is. Place a clue on your location, then cancel that card's revelation effect. Okay, so I do that and basically nothing happens. Thank goodness. That's good. I think I can do this just with Rex alone, but it's not going to be the easiest because he can move there as first action. Second action, do that. He's not gonna be able to do it in one turn. Yeah, I just now realized that. I guess I'll move Zoey stuff. She's dead. We just discard it just to free up the table a little bit more. Okay, so Rex will... He could also first action play Pathfinder, because if he's gonna move anyway, you might as well play that, but that's gonna be starting to eat into his resources, which he has a lot of, but he kinda needs at this point. So, I'll have him go first action into here, and second action will commit, once again, like 3 resources to be at a +6. So I'm testing at a 9 against a 6. That is a +1, so this thing is dead, thankfully. And then, oh boy, what do I do as my third action? Third action, I might just gain a resource so I can... Oh, I shouldn't have been able to do that because I didn't have higher education. Well, then maybe I'll say I retroactively would have drawn a card before I went in there, just so I would have been able to use higher education, and I guess that's my turn. So then enemy phase, there's no enemies, but this brood needs to move at the end. So I'm gonna look away and kind of stop right now. It's moving, it's staying. It's not moving at all. Okay, so we'll put that back over here. Upkeep phase, resource for Rex. He draws, thank goodness, not Rex's curse, search for the truth. Okay, 4 Doom on the agenda. And yeah, we're drawing a card for Rex, which is Dissonant Voices. I cannot play any assets or events. That's fine. I think we win this at this point. Because then, as a free action, Rex moves into here. He has 2, 4, 5, 6 cards in play. So first, he will spend 3 resources to be at a 9. Oh, when he moved in, he would also take a horror, which I guess I could put on Dr. Milan, but I'll just take it because why not? So 3 resources, be at a 9 against a 6. Oh, but there's a clue on here. So he only needs to commit 2 resources because he's still going to be then at a 9 against a 6 because he gets 2, 4, 6. Plus 3, yeah, okay. 9 against a 6. See how he does. 0, that first attack hits, and then it all comes down to this. He still has an extra action if he misses, but 2 resources, 9 against a 6. Can he do it? -3. Yes, he does. He saves the day, even though Zoey went down again. She's going to have physical and mental trauma from this, but all 3 broods have been taken out. And with that, it's the last in play and out of play, so we can read the back of this card. The back of this reads, as you complete the incantation, the foul creature cries out with a raucous, inhuman voice. It rumbles and cracks, the syllables of its croaking far from English. As its cry plays out, the creature shrinks upon itself, and then, with little warning, it is gone. All that remains is a foul stench and a repulsive mark that mars the vegetation where the beast once stood. And we get to read Resolution 2. Resolution 2, wow, this seems like a pretty short resolution. It just says, after slaying what seems to be the last of the rampaging monsters, you retreat to Zebulon's house, exhausted and rattled by your experiences. So I record that no brood escaped into the wild. If it contains powder, the powder is now gone. Then we get cards in the victory display, which I guess is just 3 at this point, which is still not bad. And yeah, Zoey also gets to have that mental trauma going forward, along with they both gained their random weakness cards, which is super fun. So that was that. Is there any interlude or is that it? Nope, we're on to the next scenario next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. I'll be back next week attempting the next scenario, so subscribe if you want to catch that. And if you want to see one of my recent videos, click up there in the top right corner of the screen.